Good evening and many thanks for joining us. You're watching QTV Nightly News, which is also on Q Radio 103.3 FM, and I am Ansmane Sonyase. First, here are the main news headlines. The Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital in Banjul has commissioned its first medical oxygen production plant, an $8 million facility supported by Direct Relief and other partners. The second Gambia International Social Protection Conference opened today, aiming to foster partnerships for the sustainable financing of inclusive social protection programs. And the network of African National Human Rights Institutions on Saturday launched the 8th National Human Rights Institutional Forum, held alongside the 85th Ordinary Session of the African Commission on Human and People's Rights. In international news, today is World Statistics Day, established by the United Nations Statistical Commission to highlight the importance of statistics in shaping informed decisions, policies, and sustainable development. And in sports news, Campe BFC secured the 2025 QCell Open Nawetan title, defeating Coastal Warriors in a tense penalty shootout after a 1-1 draw in regulation time at Q City Football Field on Saturday. Stay tuned as we bring you more on these and other stories. And now here's news in focus. Now, the Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital in Banjul has commissioned its first medical oxygen production plant, an $8 million facility supported by Direct Relief and other partners. The plant is expected to ensure a steady supply of life-saving oxygen and strengthen the hospital's capacity to manage critical cases. Loliam Kamara witnessed the event and filed this report.
The newly inaugurated facility is designed to provide a reliable, affordable and accessible oxygen supply, addressing critical gaps in the country's healthcare system. Hospital officials described the milestone as a major stride towards initiatives undertaken to achieve universal health coverage in the Gambia. The acting chief medical director, Dr. Cherno Jallo, emphasized the hospital strengthened the capacity, noting that managing the plant's operations, cutting costs, and guaranteeing a steady oxygen supply marked key milestones achieved. He assured donors that the facility will be properly maintained to serve future generations. Dr. Jose Pascal, president of the Society of Critical Care Medicine, SCCM, underscored the critical importance of establishing a medical oxygen plan.
As you know, oxygen is critical to intensive care. It became obvious during COVID. Patients without oxygen, patients that need oxygen in the operating room, delivering babies with lung injury, they need oxygen, and without it, people die.
Lamin Damfa, the permanent secretary at the Ministry of Health, represented the Minister of Health.
As we commission this plan today, our work is not finished, it is a new beginning. I call upon the hospital management to ensure the sustainable and judicious maintenance of this facility.
Dr. Jeffrey Samuel is Direct Relief's Regional Director for Africa, and John Sampson is the President of the Institute of Global Preoperative Care, respectively.
This project not only strengthens the national health system, but also shows what is possible when people come together across countries, across continents, for a shared purpose. And I hope that this new medical oxygen system and the continued access to medical supplies can stand as a symbol of hope.
We didn't just drop a plant here. We built an oxygen delivery system that would really serve the country and improve and strengthen their healthcare system.
The Gambia's First Lady Fatoumata Barbaro was also in attendance at the inauguration.
As First Lady, I am particularly touched by what this project means for women and children. Too often, mothers have faced unbearable moments watching their own newborns or loved ones struggles to breathe simply because oxygen was not available. This plan will change that story. It will ensure that no mother loses her child due to preventable complications. It will give our doctors and nurses the power to save lives in emergency rooms, maternity wards, and neonatal units.
Certificates were presented to the biomedical staff upon completing training on operating the oxygen plant and other hospital equipment. In addition, Direct Relief donated medication valued at over $5 million to the hospital management, and a formal signing ceremony between the hospital and its partners was held at the hospital. For QTV News, Loliam Kamara.
Now, the second Gambia International Social Protection Conference opened today under the theme Investing in Resilience Towards a Long-Term Financing of Social Protection. The conference seeks to catalyze partnerships for sustainable financing of inclusive social protection. Aliu Sise has the details.
The three-day conference is organized by the government of the Gambia through the National Social Protection Agency under the Office of the Vice President. It brings together stakeholders to discuss strategies for strengthening social protection systems. Among its key objectives, the conference aims to promote inclusive and sustainable financing, share international best practices, and reflect on the progress made in implementing the Gambia Social Protection Agenda. Governor Usman Bojang of the West Coast region commended President Barrow's government for championing social protection that empowers communities and helps lift people out of poverty. He said the conference is not just a meeting, but a call to action for all stakeholders.
Social protection is not merely a policy choice. It's a moral imperative, an economic necessity, and a pillar of social justice.
In their goodwill messages, Dr. Sintiki Tafa Ugbe, Director of Humanitarian and Social Affairs at ECOWAS, Matar Toure of the World Bank, and Deiro Sar, UNFPA country representative representing UN Resident Coordinator, respectively, said there is an increasing urgency to build systems that not only respond to crises but prevent them. The conference, they said, strongly aligns with their policies for a sustainable social protection framework for all.
It is not a temporary fix, but a long-term investment in human dignity, equity, and development.
It gives families the stability to meet their basic needs today and the confidence to plan and invest for tomorrow.
When we invest in social protection, we do more than providing immediate relief. We create pathways to dignity and hope. We enable families to send their children to school, to access health care, to escape the cycle of poverty, and to build better futures.
Mamadou K. Diba, the Executive Director of the National Social Protection Agency, acknowledged significant achievements but highlighted ongoing challenges such as limited funding to social protection and limited coverage of social assistance and social security schemes.
We want to be able to have a child born in Paravini to be automatically updated in the social registry. We want a dynamic social registry that can update based on interoperating with the civil registry, the CRVS. We want a social registry that can interoperate with the ID card.
Deputizing for Vice President Mohamed B.S. Jallow, the Basic and Secondary Education Minister, Dr. Habibur Drame, said the event demonstrates the government's commitment to ensuring social protection for all, as enshrined in national legislations and development frameworks.
The government of the Gambia places social protection at the center of its national development agenda. Under the recovery-focused National Development Plan 2023-2027, we have identified human capital development, poverty reduction, and social inclusion as critical priorities for achieving long-term sustainable growth.
It is hoped that the resolutions from this conference will contribute significantly to advancing the realization of universal access to social protection. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliu Sisi.
The network of African national human rights institutions on Saturday opened the 8th National Human Rights Institutional Forum at the Sir Dawda Kairaba Jawara International Conference Center on the margins of the 85th Ordinary Session of the African Commission on Human and People's Rights. Bakaba Suso tells us more.
The forum, held under the theme Human Rights and Development, Pathways to Dignity, Accountability and Inclusion, brought together development partners, civil society organizations, and commissioners from national human rights institutions, among other key stakeholders, to brainstorm on effective mechanisms on how human rights can be used as a pathway for inclusive, accountable, and sustainable development across Africa. Speaking at the forum, Emmanuel Daniel Diouf, Chairperson, National Human Rights Commissions, and Dr. Joseph Vital, Chairperson of the Network of African National Human Rights Institutions, emphasized the forum's importance as a platform for knowledge sharing and stronger partnership in promoting inclusion and torture prevention.
Across our continent, we continue to see how development efforts fall short when human rights are ignored, and how societies thrive when dignity, equality, and accountability are placed at the center of national priorities.
We are continually faced with enduring challenges such as poverty, inequality, corruption, weak governance, climate change, and social exclusion. These realities compel us as national human rights institutions to move beyond our traditional rules of protection. We must become enablers of good governance, advocates for accountability, and catalysts for inclusive development.
Highlighting the important role of national human rights institutions in ensuring accountability, inclusion, and rights protection, Ms. Hannah Foster, Executive Director of the African Center for Democracy and Human Rights Studies, and Ms. Yvonne Masarakofa, a Senior Human Rights Advisor, Office of the United Nations High Commission for Human Rights, reaffirmed their commitment in supporting human rights endeavors.
The NGOs Forum has been instrumental in shaping the African human rights agenda, providing a space for evidence-based advocacy, networking, and joint strategizing on pressing thematic issues, from torture prevention to discrimination, corruption, and civic space.
As the United Nations entity mandated to promote and protect the full enjoyment of all human rights by all, UNOSCHR has long recognized the strategic value of strong, independent, and effective national human rights institutions.
Remy Ngoy Lumbo, Chairperson of the African Commission on Human and People's Rights, commended NANRE for promoting right protection across Africa while calling for more discussions even on sensitive issues in promoting inclusion and stronger collaboration. He also emphasized that the recommendations from the forum can help promote national policies that are human rights centered as well as torture and corruption prevention mechanisms. The Network of African National Human Rights Institutions has been in operation since 2007, with over 46 members drawn from national human rights institutions from across Africa, with the aim of enhancing human rights and justice for all. For QTV News, Parker Basuso.
And a report there by Parker Basuso will lead us to the commercial break, but we will be right back.
Network with the cheapest tariff in the Gambia, and enjoy crystal clear calls and super fast internet at the cheapest tariff, only with QCell. Rush now and grab your free QCell SIM card today from any of our care centers near you. QCell, our biggest network with the cheapest tariff. QCell Senior Boss. We innovate, others follow.
Browse with us. QCell brings you a promo like never before. Get unlimited internet for just $25 Cs. Yes! Recharge $25 Cs and enjoy the convenience of free internet from 1 a.m. to 6 a.m. every day with our Browse with Us promo. With this amazing offer, you can browse, stream, and download all your favorite movies for free. So why wait? Recharge $25 C today and enjoy free internet only with QCell between 1 a.m. to 6 a.m. For more information, call customer care on 111. QCell, Senior Bus, we innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back. Following the commercial break, you're watching QTV Nightly News coming to you from our studios on Caraba Avenue. with me and Swanes Onyase. Now, under the theme Justice for Africans and the People of African Descent through Reparations, the Forum of NGOs ended in Banjul on Saturday, bringing together civil society organizations, human rights defenders, and stakeholders from across Africa for 3 days of discussions on critical human rights issues. Jacqueline Coley attended the opening and she filed this report.
The meeting took place ahead of the 85th Ordinary Session of the African Commission on Human and People's Rights, ACHPR. In his opening remarks, Remingoy Lumbu, chairperson of the African Commission on Human and People's Rights, called for the inclusion of individuals participants in future edition of the NGO Forum to ensure that those most affected by human rights issues have a platform to speak for themselves.
This forum should open its doors to individuals who often face repression and lack avenues to express themselves and their realities. It should be inclusive for such individuals to participate in future.
His comments resonated with the overall theme of inclusivity and participation, echoing the forum's commitment to amplifying the voices of marginalized communities in shaping the human rights agenda in Africa. He urged participants and ACDHRS to ensure the forum remains responsive to the lived experiences of Africans and people of African descent, the ultimate beneficiaries of the human rights system. Also speaking at the ceremony, Carlette Letlojani, a member of the steering committee of the NGOs Forum, delivered a powerful address highlighting global human rights concerns. She drew attention to the deportation of African migrants under President Donald Trump's administration, specifically referencing deportations to countries such as Ghana. Her remarks underscored the ongoing challenges of migration, justice, and dignity that continue to affect the African diaspora.
Calling the African Commission to urge member states to encourage termination of those agreements and the return of those deportees into the African continent. The AU Constitutive Act is very explicit about the journey, the trajectory that we want to take. Even it conflicts with the Agenda 2063. It also conflicts with our constitutions. It conflicts with the democracy that we are preserving. And we are calling that this resolution be endorsed, be supported by the African Commission so that member states act decisively in ensuring that these agreements do not form part and parcel of our continent.
According to the momentum of the day, Yvonne Masara-Kufa, human rights advisor at the Office of the UN Resident Coordinator in the Gambia, commended the forum's efforts to create meaningful dialogue around human rights protection on the continent. She emphasized the importance of collaboration between governments, civil society, and international partners in advancing human rights and sustainable development in Africa. Here is the Solicitor General of the Gambia, Hussein Tomasi, who delivered a statement on behalf of the Attorney General and Minister of Justice on the importance of such a forum.
Looking forward, Excellencies, it is imperative that the NGO Forum continues to serve as a vital platform for dialogue, coordination, and action. We must collectively strive to forge stronger partnerships across national, regional, and international institutions to align advocacy strategies and resource mobilization.
Over the next 3 days, participants are expected to develop strategies, recommendations, and advocacy actions that will inform the deliberations of the African Commission during its 85th Ordinary Session. Jacqueline Colley, reporting for QTV News.
Coming up next is international news. Now, today is World Statistics Day, established by the United Nations Statistical Commission to highlight the importance of statistics in shaping informed decisions, policies, and sustainable development. It is celebrated every 5 years in years divisible by 5. Our Bob tells us more.
This year's commemoration of World Statistics Day coincides with the United Nations 80th anniversary. underscoring the vital role that reliable data plays in shaping global progress. From peacekeeping and sustainable development to tackling climate change and public health challenges, statistics serve as a backbone of informed decision-making. The global statistical community continues to demonstrate stronger international cooperation, uniting experts from around the world to set standards, share best practices, and promote accuracy and transparency in data collection. Reliable and timely statistics empower policymakers, businesses, and citizens alike to understand complex realities, identify pressing issues, and drive positive evidence-based change. Shantanu Mukherjee serves as the UN Statistics Division Acting Director.
This day recognizes the vital role of official statistics in informing decisions at all levels, from governments to individuals. This year's theme, Quality Statistics and Data for Everyone, reflects our shared commitment to producing and sharing high-quality, timely, and trusted data.
Reliable data forms the backbone of effective policymaking, economic planning, and social progress, particularly in today's complex and fast-changing world. Building trust in statistical systems promotes transparency, accountability, and the ethical use of information, while collaboration among nations and experts drives innovation and the exchange of best practices. Shantanu Mukherjee emphasized the importance of strengthening global partnerships to ensure that data remains inclusive, credible, and accessible to everyone.
At the heart of this mission are the national statistical offices. You are the backbone of our statistical systems, upholding professional standards, ensuring data quality, and delivering evidence that informs national and global action. You translate complex realities into meaningful numbers, provide continuity amid change, and safeguard the integrity of data.
In the Gambia Bureau of Statistics, GBOST, collects and disseminates microeconomic and financial data, as well as socio-economic and demographic data. These include the population and housing census and the labor force survey. In 2022, the Gambia launched an electronic birth register system and a national health insurance scheme. As technology advances, new tools for collecting, analyzing, and visualizing data are opening fresh opportunities to promote sustainable development and social equity across the globe. For QTV News, I am Awa Bob.
And time now for some exciting sports news. Now, Kampabi FC clinched the 2025 QCell Open Nawetan title after edging Coastal Warriors in a dramatic penalty shootout following a 1-1 stalemate in regulation time at the Q City football field on Saturday. Here is Mobu Gajaka.
Dabo, who scored the equalizer. There it goes. Now they scored. And Kampabi FC are champions of the 2025 QCell Open Nawetan.
A tense penalty shootout was the ultimate decider of the QCell Open Nawetan 2025 tournament between Kampabi FC, the eventual winners, and Coastal Warriors. The winners did it the hard way by coming from behind in the second half after Coastal Warriors took the lead in the 16th minute. Kampabi goalkeeper Nuha Sanyang, who was awarded goalie of the tournament, proved why he deserved the award by saving 2 spot kicks in the final. However, those heroics came after he missed his own spot kick, which would have been the winner. Among the many dignitaries who attended the final, Mohamed Jah, chairman of the Q Group, and Bakari K. Jame, the second vice president of the Gambia Football Federation, spoke at the event to inspire the players.
We have seen a very nice tournament. I have watched some of the matches because I was out of town, and I'm very much impressed with the players, and the good game we have watched, especially even today. We watched very nice game. Both teams played very well.
These tournaments, these kinds of tournaments are unique in their nature.
because it offers the opportunity to some people, some players that will normally not have an opportunity to be seen playing football on the venue or more somewhere else.
Both teams showed quality in attacking and defending with some exciting play, and there was no shortage of goal-scoring opportunities. Adam Asedi put the Coastal Warriors in the lead in the 16th minute after a beautiful exchange of passes. Despite having much of the possession, Campebi FC were only able to score in the second half through Dauda Dabo, who came off the bench to score a beautiful equalizer. The two teams tried hard to get the winner in regulation time, but both defenses stood. A pulsating penalty shootout eventually separated the two teams. Coastal Warriors had two of their penalties saved, while Campebi FC failed to convert only one of theirs. Campebi FC celebrated with their giant trophy and a $60,000 cash prize, while Coastal Warriors got a consolation prize of $30,000 as runners-up. Mamudu Gajaga, QTV News.
And I'm afraid this is where we draw the curtains, but before we take a leave of you, here's a recap from main headlines. The Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital in Banjul has commissioned its first medical oxygen production plant, an $8 million facility supported by Direct Relief and other partners. The second Gambia International Social Protection Conference opened today, aiming to foster partnerships for the sustainable financing of inclusive social protection programs. The Network of African National Human Rights Institutions on Saturday launched the 8th National Human Rights Institutional Forum held alongside the 85th Ordinary Session of the African Commission on Human and People's Rights. In international news, today is World Statistics Day, established by the United Nations Statistical Commission to highlight the importance of statistics in shaping informed decisions, policies, and sustainable development. And in sports news, Campebi FC secured the 2025 QCell Open Nawetan title, defeating Coastal Warriors in a tense penalty shootout after a 1-1 draw in regulation time at Q City Football Field on Saturday. That's all for this bulletin. Join us at 10 p.m. for another bulletin. Until then, thanks for watching.